Welcome ladies and gentlemen to another Call of Duty Warzone video. In this video we're going to compare all of the assault rifles to the Grau 556 now that it's been patched. I'm going to take a look at the stats, the time to kill, as well as the damage drop off for each of the guns, and then also comparing the recoil patterns to see how the Grau 556 has changed. If you want to see the details of exactly what has changed with the patch for the Grau 556, there'll be a link at the end of this video so you can see the comparison before and after and what exactly has changed. Before we go into all of our weapon stats, 97% of you have not subscribed to the channel. If you want to keep up to date with everything regarding Season 4 of Call of Duty Warzone, definitely hit that subscribe button, it helps us out a lot. Now, taking a look at all of our weapon stats, we can see all of the damage drop-offs as well as the time to kill for each weapon. Now, the only guns on this list that have been updated have been the Grau 556 and the CR56. So the Grau 556 used to have a damage distance of 0 to 55 meters, then 55 to 95 meters, and then 95 plus meters. However, you can see that has changed now to 0 to 45 meters, 45 to 75, and then 75 plus. This still performs better than some of the other guns in the game. If you look at the Kilo, for example, the Grau still beats that at damage drop-off distance, but is nowhere near as good as what it used to be. In the weapon patch notes today, I also mentioned the CR56 getting a damage drop-off reduction, and that reduction was only by 5 meters. I think previously it was 0 to 55 meters and 55 plus, but now it's only 0 to 50 meters and then 50 meters plus. The CR56 change is not as significant as what has happened with the Grau. The CR56 is definitely amongst the best in terms of time to kill, only beaten by the Odin on this list. It's really hard to recommend the Odin, especially with its low magazine size, and using that inside Warzone is definitely not going to be as beneficial as using something like a 45 round mag on the CR56. If I had to pick a few guns to keep an eye on throughout this video, it would still be the Grau. It would be the M4A1, the CR56, the Bruin, the M13, and also the Kilo. And even though the AK-47 has had an ADS speed increase, it's still not going to help with your recoil at long range inside Warzone. This is for fully armoured enemies with full 3 plates on, so definitely keep that in mind when you're going throughout the rest of this video. Also, I know there's a lot to take in this video and there's a lot of information on one page, so feel free to pause the video at each page just to make sure you're taking everything in. We're going to go through things pretty quickly in this video just to avoid it being really long, as there is quite a few guns in this video. Looking at the recoil patterns for these guns after the Grau 556 patch, we can see the Grau is still performing really well in terms of recoil. It's pretty much still vertically upwards with not very much side to side bounce. It still is a bit more than what was previously on the Grau 556, and if you want to see a direct comparison, you can see that in our previous video. Now, all of these guns were tested using their longest barrel, plus the monolithic suppressor, plus the commando foregrip, just to make sure we're getting a really good result, and something accurate to what you'd actually be using in-game. Picking out some of the best performers here, we have the Kilo, the M13, and the Bruin doing extremely well. To make testing fair, we did only fire 30 rounds of the Bruin just to make sure it matches up with some of the other guns in the game. And we still have some consistent recoil with the CR56 as well. Now, even though the Odin's recoil along with the Scar's recoil looks quite easy to manage, this could be the case, especially if you're a keyboard and mouse player. It actually could be really easy to control the Odin and the Scar, but it does have a bit of a jump in terms of the first and second shots fired. I would stay away from the AK-47, especially inside Warzone and longer range gunfights. If you're using it in multiplayer at close quarters, it's not too bad, but most people are going to struggle to try to control that recoil. Speaking of controlling the recoil, I'm going to bring up some images now of the recoil patterns after I've tried to control it. Now, what you can see here is actually before the Grau got nerfed, and now I'm going to switch to after the Grau got nerfed. As you can see, controlling the recoil on the Grau now is actually much more difficult, and that is due to that increased horizontal recoil, especially when you're firing for long periods of time. I feel like this is something important that we missed out of our previous video, as most people try and compensate for their recoil and not just let the gun do all of the work. Picking out some of the guns that are doing really well, I think it's safe to say that the Bruin's doing the best out of any of the guns on this image right here, and then after that I would say the M13's probably the second best gun, followed by the Grau again, and then maybe the Kilo. So maybe it's too early to decide, but it looks like we've kind of found our new meta gun. It seems to be that the Bruin has probably the best damage profile along with recoil pattern inside this game. It has a really low time to kill, and it also has a really manageable recoil pattern. The only downside to the Bruin is that it doesn't have great mobility, but the same can be said with some of the assault rifles inside the game as well, so it's not too far off at all. Now keep in mind this is not even the optimal loadout for the Bruin, as I would recommend sticking a VLK scope on there to help out with the horizontal recoil a bit more. Another thing I'd like to point out is I'm by no means the best at controlling recoil in this game. I'm probably about average, so most players out there should be seeing similar results to myself. If you're a pro player or just better at this game in general, you're probably going to see much better results than what I did, but that doesn't take away from the fact that some guns are easier to control than others. Overall, in my opinion, I think the Bruin has the best setup for the new meta inside Warzone. Don't quote me on that though, because it could depend on a lot of different things, especially new weapon patches coming out in the future. That just about wraps up this video. If you want to support the channel, hit that like button because it gets us out to more people and gets more people viewing these videos. And also, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with everything regarding Season 4 inside Warzone. But that's everything for this video. Thank you very much for watching.